Hi, North Lake. Recently I got to fly across the country, and I don't know if you've ever flown from coast to coast and looked out your window and seen the change of the landscape. Or maybe you've been on a road trip and it's been right at your eye level as you traveled across different states. But as you travel, you see, the ocean and lakes and the flat prairie lands, and then almost out of nowhere, mountains form that almost touch the sky. And as you look out of a plane, they look so small, so far down, as if they're just a few inches off the ground. And sometimes in between those mountains, there are canyons. These canyons, which again look so small from up above, but are so deep. And within those canyons, if you look at those canyon walls, there are these layers of rock, of different types of rock, of different colors that are so beautiful to look at, and a river that usually runs through them. And if you talk to the people who study the formations of rocks and canyons, they'll tell you that that beauty, that those layers that we see are actually a story of disaster. It's one natural disaster after another, whether it was a flood or an earthquake or just that river running through, that cut away at that rock and allowed those beautiful layers to form. We don't always see the disasters and the hardships, but we see that beauty at the end. There's this song that Ellie Holcomb wrote a few years ago called Canyons, and she wrote it after being in the Grand Canyon and seeing these layers and this river that runs through it. And she thought about our lives and all of the hardships that we go through, the things that you and I walk through on a daily basis with our family and our friends, and how it can cut away. It feels like those disasters just cutting away and cutting away. But God says, I am here in the midst of it, and I bring beauty to ashes, and I'm going to set your feet on a solid rock, and I bring you hope. That is the beauty that we get to see amongst these layers, is the hope of Christ. And we have that hope, that beautiful expectation of God's love and his promises that are written throughout Scripture and that are true for you and for me. We can set our eyes on that hope. And we're going to be talking a little bit about that hope this Sunday as we talk about the rhythms of our lives and how we live into the rhythm of Sabbath rest. Not just those extra Sunday afternoon naps that we might need, but this rhythm of Sabbath rest that God not only provides, but he created and commanded us to live into, and that can bring us hope. So I hope that as we look forward to this Sunday of hope and rest, that you will join us, whether in person or online. And I'd encourage you to pick up one of these cards, these Sit With Me cards that have our church information on it, and that you would share this with the people that you know. Maybe leave them around town for people to find, because people are also looking for hope. And sometimes they don't know where to turn. We would love for you to invite people to North Lake to discover the hope, the love, and the peace that we have in Jesus Christ. I'll see you this Sunday.